what people's responses to what it is I've written. I don't go back to look at posts and see what people had to say about it, because I'm that's not why I'm posting it in the first place, to hear how people feel about it. So, I'm not posting no nonsense. Most of what I post is verifiable. If you care to do research, don't even have to take my word for it. So, people always talk about freedom of speech and freedom to this and freedom to that. But yet, when I post something, I guess that the downside to freedom of speech is you just have to suffer the slings and arrows that come at you from whatever it is you say. Because if you didn't say it, nobody would know you felt that way. And then they can't come at you with, you know, for no reason. So they have a reason for somebody to put on my post, go fuck yourself, Miss Ruth. I'm like, oh, I got to do that. And the other person said, you're a fucking moron. To that person, you know what I responded? I said, so's your mother. To which they responded, well, you need to go live in some place like Venezuela. Don't tell me where I need to go live. Why you think I'm still in the United States? What makes you think I'm in the United States in the first place talking? Well, I don't even know what it is I wrote to prompt that response. You're a fucking moron. I'm figuring it's only two things that would generate that kind of response, and it was something that was taken as anti-Semitic or was anti-US, and that the person who said you're a fucking moron had the word Zionist in their screen name. So I'm sure it was something about that rubbed them the wrong way, even if it was the truth. So, you either got freedom of speech or you don't, and you don't mind, taking the slings and arrows that come behind telling the truth. What advantage could I get out of lying? I'm not lying. I'm not lying. There's not enough money in the world that you could say you would pay me for me to tell out and right lies, things that I know are a lie. I'm not doing that. I'm not apologizing for anything I've said. They can go back 50 years from now and see what I've said. And I'm pro-black. Yeah, why can't I be pro-black? People can say anything they want against black people, and there's no anti-black hate crime law in place. So you can say whatever you want to say about black people, and nobody has ever come to the defense of black people and said, well, the way y'all treat black people is just abysmal. Y'all do all of these things, and it's detrimental to black people. You don't hear nobody coming to the defense of anything done to black people. Not black children. Nobody's running on the platform that they're going to get to the bottom of why the mortality rate is so high among black women, black babies in these hospitals in the U.S. That's a form of genocide. That and the fact that RFK Jr. has said that thing about reparenting, and that black people don't know how to parent their kids, and they know that the drugs that they give black kids causes violent tendencies. They know that. So he was saying, and this is something he said back in 2024. Somehow it has resurfaced at this time. So, it's making the rounds. I don't know who he thinks he is. But people can be anti-black, and for the most part, people will be behind it, and they'll keep on pushing whatever falsehoods they love to push peddle about black people, except for the black people that have lots of money. Is that not a kick in the head? I grew up in a house that had a mother and a father, a hard-working father. He worked hard. My mother worked hard. Taught us to work hard. What, I'm going to grow up and be a deadbeat? So they know that that's a lie, but still they like to perpetuate that lie that black people don't work. And that kind of also explains why people are so like surprised when they see a black person traveling. Like, how can you afford to travel? Don't you know we keep y'all poor in the US so you can't travel outside the US and see what the rest of the world is like? That's their attitude. When somebody wants to know what you do, that's a way for them to put you in a box. That's their way to determine your worth. I'm not answering such questions. You don't get to ask me what it is I do. I do lots of things. But they want to categorize you and you know, and do I look like your how do you say, I don't know, should I say typical? That's the perfect word, typical. Do I look like a typical black woman that's in the US? Tell the truth. Be truthful. So don't approach me in that way. People always want to be disrespectful. I'm always conscious of when people try to even be a little subtly disrespectful. Yeah, you don't get to call me girl. You don't know me. Unless you knew me when I was a girl, you don't get to call me girl. I'm an old woman. I'm older than 65. My name is Miss Ruth. Miss Ruth or Miss Green. 2 syllables for each name. What's so hard about that? So, you know, people who troll people looking for things, looking for comments that they don't agree with or that they feel like it's so egregious that they got to go in and say, you know, go fuck yourself and you're a fucking moron. You know, what is that? You got time to go after people who's written something that you don't agree with? And you probably might not agree with it because it's the truth. That's why I said when I write something, it doesn't matter what you have to say about it, what I have to write, because chances are it's something true. And it just rubbed you the wrong way. So, you know, that's childish. That's childish. And it's just like, what? Substack's supposed to be a place where you can say what it is you need to say. But yeah, I see that people trolling people. And the people who said those things, I just went in and blocked them. But that person who I said to Social Mother, I made sure they saw that I responded with that, because they responded to that. Their rebuttal was that I should go live somewhere else. That is so lame, and that's weak. That's a weak response to Social Mother. Why you calling me such a name? I get to write whatever. If you want to hold it against me, hold it against me. I certainly cannot stop you. But I'm just sick of people, you know, doing that. Being mean just to be mean. And if you write something and I can tell English is not your first language, you are doomed. Then I really know you don't know what you're talking about. So I just ignore them. And then I can tell when a comment is made by a young person. Yeah. So there's no point arguing. You know, there's young people who think they know everything. They think they're so smart that whatever it is they think, they feel like they're the first ones that came up with that idea or that thought or that whatever. So, no, I've been around way too long. There's no way you know more than me. I'm sorry. Time is the thing. Time. Over a period of time. So, yeah. Saying mean things because somebody says something that rubbed you the wrong way. Well, that's really a coward's way out. But like I said all that to say, it doesn't matter how you respond to what it is I've written. Chances are it's the truth. Then that's why you're so rattled by it. So say what you will, say what you want. That's it. I can only tell the truth.